Hey everyone, welcome back to your week ahead astrology breakdown. I'm Matthew Oliver with Stillwater Alchemy. And as we start off this week, of course, there's going to be integration with that Leo full moon that we had over the weekend. So remember what you're fighting for. Remember what you're moving towards, where that big goal is or what your purpose is, because I think throughout this week, there are a couple different transits that may test your resolve, or there might be a temptation to veer you off course. But if you know what you want, if you've been doing the work, those temptations or things that are set to distract you are not going to be a very big deal. So we'll get into that, of course. If you would like an additional resource to help integrate those full moon energies, I'll put the link for my full moon workshop in the description of this video. And in case you missed it, last week I announced I'm going to be teaching my first astrology course live with my Scorpio sister, Farah Sadiq. We're extremely excited about this. We're going to be teaching the course between April 8th and July 8th. And within that 3-month container, we're also going to have a online community aspect where if you have any questions, want to integrate any of the lessons that we've been teaching, you literally have access to Farah and I the entire 3 months. So we're going to have 10 teaching days throughout those 3 months, weeks off to integrate in between each lesson. And then there's also going to be time where you can just ask anything about your chart, about astrology, how to understand the themes and the lessons presented. So if that is something that you're interested in, I will put the link for that landing page also in the description of the video. You can also ask any questions in the comments in case you're curious to learn more. And both Farah and I agreed that we're only going to be teaching this live once. So it is quite special. It is quite unique. If it's something that feels good and feels resonant to you, I'd love to have you. All right. So let's jump into the week ahead, shall we? So we are starting off on Monday, February 6th, 2023, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is what I was referencing before. The moon is still in her full moon phase, but at the start of the week, she's opposing Saturn. This isn't always a bad thing. However, it could feel like that you are working extremely hard and maybe not knowing what needs to be done. On the other hand, that hard work can be presented with maybe challenges or maybe a not yet, or that you have to keep working before you get where you want to be or you get that end result. It can also just quite simply mean that you're working a lot. And that's never a bad thing, of course, but ensuring that your mind is very clear and focused is going to help you feel more confident or happier about the work involved. And this is one thing too, that remember with that full moon, she was making a square to Uranus. So if you are maybe in a pivot stage right now where you're switching gears with regards to life purpose, career, relationships, family, home, then yeah, there might be logistically a lot of paperwork or a lot of things that you have to do. Of course, the moon also references the body, our emotions, mothering. So that can also be where there might need to be better structures, better boundaries if you feel like your health is out of whack or your sleep cycle, or boundaries with other feminine energy in your life, even just boundaries with the rest and making sure you're getting enough rest to receive everything that you're wanting. So just really be clear on Monday. And it always kind of seems to be that way on Mondays to ground yourself for the week, but it will be very easy, I would say, to get overwhelmed based on the transits on Tuesday and Wednesday if you're not clear-headed and you have a game plan from Monday. So Monday could also be a really great day just to do those fundamental adult things in terms of cleaning, cooking, meal prep, getting bills out of the way, making sure that the rest of the week can be open so that you can navigate the transits a bit easier. Now, when we move to Tuesday, the moon is getting a lot of action, and it is, in my opinion, the most energetically charged day. The moon is making an opposition to Venus. She's also making a trine to Uranus, and she's making a square to Mars. So let's break this down a little bit. Moon in Virgo opposing Venus and honestly Neptune. So this could be a head versus heart, specifically around relationships, worth, what you want, what you desire. This could be that your heartstrings are maybe more easily plucked by other people. And this doesn't have to just be loving relationships. This can be any relationship. This could be client, this could be sibling, this could be neighbor. It doesn't matter. And what this also reminded me of was the scene at the end of the first Sex and the City movie. Spoiler, of course, if you haven't seen it, but when she decides to go back to her dream house and Mr. Big is there and she's like, it wasn't logic, it was just love. And she like runs and they embrace and they make up. And it might be one of those things where, especially given that both Venus and Neptune are in Pisces, that more emotional side of you, maybe the more intuitive side of you, is going to override that cerebral part or that logical part of your mind. That's not a bad thing, especially because the moon is making a trine to Uranus. So you might be acting out of character, especially if you are maybe more in your masculine or you are more analytical in your thoughts and decision making. The one thing here is I need you to be clear with your communication. And that communication aspect is going to be prominent all week. And we'll touch on that as it becomes more and more prevalent. But if you're not happy with the arrangement or it's not something that abides by your boundaries or your worth, then you just giving in because someone's being nice or someone's saying the right things is not the right decision. It has to be a place where you're feeling respected, you're feeling heard, where both people in the relationship are moving in the right direction, and then you can do it. If you're not feeling that, though, I need you to use your voice and to maybe ask some more questions. And I think that's where this opposition between the moon and Venus gets that support from Mars. But if you're not saying something out of fear of being hurt, abandoned, the other person's not going to like what you have to say, that's only going to affect your mind even more, given this is Mars in the sign of Gemini. So there can be great strides made, there can be great advancement, but not if you're not happy and not if your boundaries are not being met with regards to what you want and what you are thinking. So, I mean, we're still in Aquarius season. You can not bend the rules, but make things work in your favor so that you are still happier. The dynamic of the agreement is working in your favor. I just don't want you to make an impromptu decision and then regret it afterwards, because now we're seeing that Mercury is getting closer and closer to Pluto, which is going to be playing out tomorrow specifically, where I think the truth is going to be revealed, or there is going to be a big contract, or there is going to be something that's very prevalent in your life where it's right in your face, which is why it's important to get grounded on Monday, which is why it's important to not let yourself go or to not allow your boundaries to be firm on Tuesday, because if something big and powerful is coming in on Wednesday, you can receive it knowing exactly what you want, exactly what you're worth, and what you're not going to allow in. And then on Wednesday as well, the moon is opposing Neptune. So if there is a decision that needs to be made or a contract that needs to be signed, it's up to you. I would maybe wait until Thursday when the moon is in Libra. Wednesday, especially with moon Neptune, things can be very confusing. You might not have the most clarity in this situation. So if you are going back and forth or you feel like you need to give an answer, maybe wait until Thursday. The positive note of this aspect with the moon opposing Neptune is there could be things that on the outside don't seem possible or on paper seem unrealistic, but you're allowed to dream, you're allowed to go for it. Remember, we're coming off of that Leo full moon. So if there are big, grandiose dreams that you want, that Neptune can help taper or maybe calm down the cerebral mind or all those voices in your head that are saying you're not enough, it's not good enough, you should wait, you need to work harder. That's where this can kind of balance out and like, you know, the work that needs to be done, but that doesn't mean that we can't dream big. That doesn't mean that the dream cannot come true. And then that's where this Pluto Mercury conjunction can come in and allow your mind to grow, to expand, to attune to the frequency, to welcome in these downloads. But again, as we saw earlier in the week, if you're ungrounded, if you're not focused, if you're not clear, it's going to be more confusing to know where that frequency is. You might not even believe it's possible because you have so much external noise coming in. So to fully take advantage of these transits on Wednesday, you need to be grounded and focused. All right. So Thursday, a really fabulous day, because I think a lot's going to be coming in on Thursday with the moon in Libra opposing Jupiter. And then we almost have this exact conjunction between Mercury and Pluto. So this is when I would sign the contracts. This is where it's like more is more is more. This is like a cornucopia of goodies that is likely to come in. And we also have the moon making a trine to Mars. So agreements, negotiations. This could also be a great time for like date night or love or expansion. Like this is where the week picks back up after having a few emotionally charged days. This is where the clarity or ease is likely to come in. So rejoice, have some fun, enjoy that. For me, also with Pluto and Mercury being here in the sign of Capricorn, I mean, Mercury's finishing up its transit here, and Mercury's been here for a few weeks, right? Since it was retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. So look to that Capricorn ruled house in your natal chart to see where there might be more clarity, breakthrough, business opportunities, or just ways of you seeing things more differently, or even just viewing yourself as more powerful and benevolent. And you're setting up these long-term structures to benefit you. So that could just be habits, that could be routines around health, that could be business, that could be taxes, that could be how you spend your money. You might just have more structure and organization that's going to help you for the rest of the year. So honor that and see what needs to be done, especially as the sun gets closer and closer to Saturn. It is a more maybe serious, astute tone. However, there's going to be a lot to celebrate. There's going to be a lot to call in, even as we move into Friday. Friday, for me, is one of the best days of the week because we do have this, not a direct or exact grand trine, but the moon in Libra, sun in Aquarius, Mars in Gemini, lots of communication, lots of things going on, lots to celebrate. I would be social. I would go out with your friends. If you want to maybe meet someone, I mean, we have Venus conjunct Neptune. This is great for manifesting love, beauty, opportunity, especially in that Pisces ruled house in your chart, but go out and celebrate on Friday. This is a phenomenal day to go and have big things happen. Like this could be a day on Friday. And I mean, I recommend that everyone does this of setting intentions throughout the day. But if you sit down on Friday and be like, I'm calling in this and this and this, literally all those things could come true because we have that grand trine in air signs, which is why I've been preaching about having your mind correct, about being grounded, because if you're doing that all week, by the time we get to Friday, you're going to be invincible, where you just sit, like think something and it instantly comes through. Like that's how easy this can work. And I also think depending, like if with investments or business, like if you have a presentation on Friday or an interview, like I would push anything to Friday if you could, with regards to business opportunity contracts, because you're likely to get the best deal or something that will come through. Because even still, we have moon in aspect to Jupiter, right? So this could be where you get like everything you wanted and then some. So don't be afraid to go big. That's what we were talking about, right? With the moon opposing Neptune on Wednesday, is that go big, go for whatever you want, even if it doesn't make sense, because by the time we get to Friday, these transits are extremely working in your favor. I will say as well on Friday, if you want to get any kind of like beauty procedure, even just go for like a facial, manicure, pedicure, whatever it is, this for me is a really great day to do so, given that the moon is in Libra, the ruler of the moon is Venus, exalted in Pisces, conjunct Neptune. Yes, we do have the moon making a square to Mercury and Pluto. However, Mercury is out of its post-retrograde shadows. So I think if you wanted to do any kind of like beautifying of self or of a space, or even having like a romantic date, and of course, Friday is ruled by Venus. So in my opinion, Friday is one of the best days of the week for almost everything that you want. So do the work at the start of the week and you're going to reap big, beautiful rewards at the end. Now, Saturday, we now see on Saturday that Mercury moves into the sign of Aquarius. So we're going to see here now for about the next week or so that we have Mercury, the Sun, and Saturn in Aquarius. So check the house in your natal chart ruled by Aquarius, because there's going to be a lot of action in there. If you have strong Aquarius placements, you're going to feel more activated. There's going to be a lot more talk, business, strategy, maybe foresight in that part of your life or just in general. We also have the moon making a square to Pluto. So that can manifest in a couple different ways. It could be intensity around emotions. There could be truth or seeking out more in regards to relationships, in regards to mother, body. This could also be where you overcome something quite profound, right? And especially now that Mercury has shifted into an air sign, is that your thoughts are that much more powerful. Or quite simply, like that phrase, if you put your mind to it, you can achieve anything, where you're just like, this used to cause me anxiety or stress, but now I know I have the tools to overcome it, so that power dynamic or stress or anxiety that I once felt no longer has a hold on me. And that could be quite profound, right? So it just depends how you are with your emotional health, spiritual health, even physical health. And I would also just maybe take stock of all of your key relationships right now to ensure that they align, because with that Sun Saturn energy for the next week, you're probably going to be extremely busy, if not moving forward, right? And so you won't have as much time to give to certain relationships, especially if the power dynamics are off. This could just be like a friend that always takes advantage of your kindness or love, and you never get that reciprocated. Or it could be family dynamics where you feel obligated to do certain things, or neighbors, people at the dog park, whoever it may be. That way you can just say, is this actually fair? Is this balanced? Is this a proper use of my time and energy or not? Now, when we move to Sunday, and I mean, we're going to talk about this more next week, this Venus-Neptune conjunction, but it's beautiful. It's phenomenal. There could be a lot of love in the air, opportunity in the air, with the moon in Scorpio conjunct the South Node. And that's why I was thinking on Saturday that reevaluating your relationships could also mean that certain ones are going to be released, or that you're not going to put as much effort in there, because the moon conjunct the South Node can be a release of emotions or stress, or even just a relationship in general, especially with the moon opposing Uranus. The good news is that the moon is making a trine to Venus. So I've talked about this before. I talk a lot with clients about this, is that when you release a relationship or an opportunity or anything that isn't aligned, that energy is not destroyed. It has to find another vessel to inhabit. So if you are fearful, that's like, if I let go of this lover, this home, this opportunity, what if something doesn't come along? What if I'm destitute or alone? It never, ever works that way. If you understand how energy works, you would have faith and you would trust that it has to inhabit a new vessel at your level. And that can come in very quickly with this Venus-Neptune energy, but it might be uncomfortable, right? Moon conjunct Uranus. And sometimes too, I'm not sure if any of you have been in this position where you're working with someone, or you're friends with someone, or you're dating someone, you're like, this isn't working. I want to end this, but I'm afraid of hurting their feelings. And then 2 days later, they break it off with you, or they send an email being like, hey, I'm swamped. I can't work with you anymore. And you're like, I was just thinking this. And then you feel bad for not honoring your intuition. And there can be sometimes ego involved, being like, I wanted to break off or end this with you first. So if you're feeling that, especially on Saturday, don't be afraid to make that decision internally and or externally, just having that conversation, saying that you don't have time, saying you'll let the other person know when you're free, so that when you get to Sunday, it's even that much more clear where you can direct your emotional energy to benefit you. And I mean, the sun's getting closer and closer to Saturn. So this is like, you get a boundary, you get a boundary, you get a boundary. So don't be afraid of saying no, and don't be afraid of setting some boundaries as we end off this week. All right. Fabulous. So the astrology question of the week. When you say on your weekly breakdowns that dreams are intense, like last week leading up to the full moon, we had the moon making a square to Neptune. The moon was then making a trine to Neptune. And then, of course, the full moon can just bring intensity in our dream state. When this happens, can you clear out fears and anxieties via dreams during these times? I feel like leading up to full moons, or just vivid dreams in general, it's a lot of my deepest fears playing out. Is this just them trying to be cleared out or move on? Or does this mean that these are now going to happen because I'm dreaming it so strongly? So we've talked about dreams a little bit before, but I thought this was good in terms of discussing dreams a bit more, especially around, let's say, full moons, or when the moon is an aspect to Neptune, which can really amplify the dream state. So there's a couple different ways that dreams can work. The one thing that I would really note for everyone is, how much are you putting into your spiritual practice, period? How much time are you taking to meditate? How much time are you taking to connect in with your body, your heart, your mind? Because if the answer is less than an hour a week, and then you're scared that a dream is going to come true, we need to redirect this work. Because with dreams, oftentimes it's that subconscious venting, or it's your body is finally in a state where it's completely resting. So your body can reveal to you maybe what those deepest fears and anxieties are, where during the day you're numbing yourself out through work, through your family, through addictions, through scrolling on your phone. So literally you're not even taking time to listen into your body. So oftentimes It's a way of that body to vent, to release. And there are often some people too that don't even vent or even express their frustrations or what they're feeling. So you're not even having maybe a professional healer or therapist to hold space for you. And then the only time your body can release these emotions is when you're sleeping. So in that case, it does not mean necessarily that that dream is going to come true. I'm sure many of you had dreams of like you're falling or a zombie apocalypse or a like steamy, spicy dream. It can manifest in a couple of different ways. There are people that do have prophetic dreams. Like I've worked with clients that have dreamed of something very, very clear and intense, where it's almost like a premonition-esque dream. And you can have those visions while you're awake, depending on your gifts or how attuned you are to channeling. But some people do have prophetic dreams where they wake up and it feels so intense. So yes, prophetic dreams are possible. So I'm not saying if you dream of something that it won't come true, but usually people know when they have that gift, or it's just so strongly on their heart that they need to act on it. Most times it's just your body venting and needing to release that. So what I would do, let's say if you are calling in a partner, a lover, but then you have a dream of being abandoned or that a lover is cheating on you, I would recommend that if there is a dream that gives you anxiety or fear, that you journal that out. See where that initial fear or doubt is coming from, and then ultimately decide if that's true or not. So you're spending time connecting in with your body, connecting in with your emotions to do work around that, to understand why those dreams maybe came through, to see if you're actually addressing that, to maybe connect in with your inner child. So then that way, once you've decided that this dream happened, but I'm no longer going to allow that fear or anxiety to be prevalent because I'm going to work on this or have a different belief or have a different paradigm and actively work on that belief system every single day, then you wouldn't dream about it because there wouldn't be as much fear or any fear at all that that would happen. So it's up to you. You can allow dreams to play out, but we don't also have to we can have beautiful dreams of everything unfolding exactly as they should, dreams of you meeting celebrities, dreams of you connecting with your dream lover, and you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm dreaming this so strongly, I know it's about to come true. And I'm sure many of you have had dreams where it has felt positive and beloved, and you're like, great, this gives me the motivation and the encouragement to go. But as this question clearly stated, that a lot of times when we're leading up to a full moon, it gets easier and easier to tap into that subconscious part because the moon is doing her thing. It's like we need to release these emotions. We need to release these fears so that we can call in something new, that we can recalibrate our emotional state, right? So it's almost like I should just do like a whole rant or a podcast about this. I'll touch more on it during the week ahead, or pardon me, the IG live that I do on Monday. But let me know how that resonates. Let me know if there's any follow-up question on dreams and how they can spur and come up in your subconscious. If you really want to work with the dream state and dreams, you have to put in the work. Like just having one bad dream and being anxious about it, it's not going to be fully aligned or help you understand this anymore. Like I always tell clients, and in general, I've spoken about this before, that if you really want to work with dreams, the hour before you go to bed, you need to ground yourself. You need to calm your mind. You need to do things where you're not stimulated by a screen. So it's more likely that you are receptive and going to remember these dreams. When you wake up, having 15, 30, ideally an hour of time where you can recall dreams or recall how you felt, so you can work through that. And that way your ability to recall dreams gets stronger and stronger and stronger, because people often tell me, I don't dream, I don't remember my dreams. I'm sure when you first started working out, or when you were a baby, when you first started walking, it wasn't easy or it didn't happen right away, but you practiced every single day. If you practice every single night and morning to receive input from dreams, it is going to be a skill set that you have. But if you don't, and then you have a one-off dream during the full moon and it gives you anxiety, that's okay. It's okay to have that anxiety be cleared out. It's okay for your subconscious to clear these emotions, but there needs to be some accountability. Remember, Monday, we have the moon opposing Saturn, so I'm already tapping into that energy. There needs to be accountability. There needs to be work involved if you really want to take advantage of any skill set or any work that is going to reap beautiful rewards, all right? So I trust that resonates. If there's any clarity needed, please let me know in the comments, and I can address it next week if there's enough interest or if there's a follow-up question that makes sense. All right. Thank you all for watching. Have a beautiful week ahead, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.